Yesi blue, yale amasa tomo.
Stop dressero chikui asabo chilui moita kuaragto doita tachumoni bandake yellow. First of all, I want to thank God for the opportunity He has for me today. It's such a great privilege by the grace of God to stand here today. I also want to thank Statu and Tisole. I don't know what's got into them, but I believe God told them to put me through this because I have been very, very lazy lately. So thank you too for that. And also, it's the best time for me to overcome my fear of lacking of expressing myself in front of a lot of people. It's too good for it today. As you all know, this is my first time standing on the stage and I'm a little nervous. As you know, my voice is shaking right now. But I know His angel standing next to me to take away the nervous system and fill it with courage and braveness. I'm not good at expressing myself, especially speaking His word with honor and respect. It was written by the Apostle Paul, who loved to share the good news of Jesus with everyone. He wrote this letter especially to Timothy, a young follower of Jesus and one of Paul's closest companions. In fact, Paul also called Timothy his true son in the faith. At the time Paul wrote this letter, he was in prison in Rome around AD 64-67, likely during his second imprisonment. In this letter, Paul encouraged Timothy to never give up and stay faithful. Keep preaching the gospel and remain strong even when facing difficulty. Paul reminded him that he could still be a great example of faith and a great example of Christianity. So 2 Timothy 2:15 tells us to do our best to present ourselves to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Today's message is simple but very powerful. Do your best to present. Not to impress people, but to present yourself to God. God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for faithfulness, integrity, and willingness. So today we're going to focus on 3 key points. First, present yourself as approved. Second, a worker who is not ashamed. Third, one who handles truth correctly. Tiniya itagamo bwa mireda classic keto. Lisoswi tabatwe pae likitimitia seroki asepro dichiye. Classic keto le bwa bayuata, bwa mara pola meshala roba. Pano pada mida do agluguta setotolu nitke. Tak dolenya. Tak dolenya. Legitimity de beini barakwela Yesu Christ wadama po trapado sapolu. Do kwewe taloni pe we rumi huabu. Do kwe Where a circuitoni pair, Klagana, Huchinui Nilo, Likitimity the bay mirror, so Paul water hip lower, so Timothy, like a the tutana, like the tutanilo. Do Heku Hepa, Heavy Heba, ready to do, a Uathala, Yesu Christ, Vinono, Lotatu Totarabu, Dogu Klesser, he had a Takuguso. Do lisoshuata tolo la mia torpa di posoda ta kubisorgato la ta kwaseme tanara po do ta thodu thoda budale no legitimity aserokia sebodishiye ipapani bola pogba klese keto kwa bayuatha Pamara Pula Meshaloroba. Pano Patamita do Aglita Setoluniki. Letania Hobo Malodugo. Tanopathabo Dilaya Tunila.
Tanopathe, class a kettle up about your tha. Pamiko limo, litomo sado, Tashinuido, Sado, Tashi Qui, Sunya Bunebatiba, whether so you the poor down munino. Adabu path to get the cow, Kua Toda or Poco to Dale. Lucky neighbor, Salakuyasu, Pakada Pola Sebe Kisi, Super Ishmaela, Aoda, Ishmaela put Paleko. So you the su ko cook tupu do sakwi su sapotipa pa de dipo la ami sopa pador pa sopa pado au sopa do popar pa klaraga la mi pa peweda no akoraga ni no do li soshi sibabwa do yo odo so you the do du keto o la pa mata keto lu thodaga ni no do agasa ne thiweda le yo odo so you the no du keto lu tho tale amawe te milala ni no agasa ni bathu bathao no du keto we ola papa hi no tale ola hi bu khela no saro phane kasa yo so ge weda e ku putu ho a hi bu kho bo do ke ye tale ola hi bu kho bu no si blo bu khela la so yo da a ho ni no tale so yo da ni o bwe we do du do de no do da ge no pakwa ge lo le tani ho agasa amane bathu bathawe da soyuta do lweni odi so agami hu do di to soyuta kama ni lo basa soyuta awe hu thaweda tatha to do kasaywa anindi talib so do ta so ni lo Soyuda siweda peto mushe sado thasi kui sabu kui yigmata eta thodo yodmi do magma ba yadi le awe mi pole amata ba yatha class ke tho le ba yatha lo khoplo awe tamaweda ta eta thodmi di aksamu ataba tha ho aksamu ta tho odo teba wa sopotipa le talita lo pu lo le khibata phanu o le khu bu ni lo me ola khobu ba sadana ke ni kasa yo odo do pa kho do tuga ni eba o do kho plo equipi kuma do pa ola pa kho pho ola khobu khela ni ola sublo tale ba malo ni o ni bakati ba le so yo ta ga yi o muta mula bak sa yo ta lo do weda man kui tale so ni no le kikta Kasaya patho odo, ketoba soba kiraga leko a kutubu, no masabagi a hippo hopo, a poagalu, la tathawi, lord Otoda le a circuit. Lisoshi paplawele payne at an neoda 30 nilo, the sea 30 Italia coplo, quasa metacora kebasa, awe me porga, pala awe me pala amataba sayatha, dog. Class a kettle pa you at a hone. Pagatiba le Kasaya pa toto ni no. Pay the old sinini, and abue salo or pay the old thessini, ketoba sopa kierga. Pabada leco a kutu ani hosino, thive pay the old and neat tegayarisi. Di lister mo she sado yasi sabuki hupa flower ni no. Here is a short the point summary of Joseph's story. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers and taken to Egypt, even Potiphar's wife. God was with him and he succeeded. Why? Because God was with him. Bless him with favor and wisdom. When he was tempted by Potiphar's wife, Joseph refused because he did not want to sin against God. Even though he did the right thing, he was falsely accused but thrown into prison. But God was still with Joseph in prison. He was given responsibilities there too. In God's timing, Joseph was raised up to become second in command in Egypt and helped save his family and many lives. to be approved by God means living faithfully, obey Him, and doing what is right in every situation, just like Joseph. So first point, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved.
Tano paki, wamana pole ameshaloruba, wamana pole ameshaloruba, a worker who does not need to be ashamed. Bemekwa pe li kisoba sado yabuni. Bektiba wala Israela pomu pole abata me keku odo ba manale pa Syria tu kokleson hama hipunilana. Bektiba le tu koso tu kokleson hamani odo dasha do awe edo le aksa son hamani keblaki wenilana. Penny asagtane awe sibara son hama male le ko Israela punino. We Elia oda de la mira kesa awini lono. Awe ni mile sua onin keblaki weni lono. Peme kwa kila peme te kila punina son haman ile suwe Elia oni lono. Di wite o atoni le silone ta le tiklo yade apu nui blo do ne ta chani keblaki weni lono. Mawe di wite o atodo blaki weni lo. Do tu son hama ta chani blaki wedo siba weda siblisipoki weda we Elia do si weda le Israela akasa mi atodga ni no yina ni li petira le pomi podga ino meme ku pomi basasna kene awe ame de saweda le klo platho weda kasa yo le ame atodo lo platho weda yo la po ba no khoplo le Israela pomi podga ino tu koson hamani tisinya ki weda yole ami atodo kasa yola ami barsirap joni no. Second point is a worker who does not need to be ashamed. In Kings chapter 5, the story of Nime. So let's talk about a young servant girl. She was not famous. She was not powerful. She didn't have status. In fact, she had been taken from her home and forced to serve in other country. But even in that situation, she still honored God. Naaman, her master, had leprosy, a serious disease, and this young girl spoke on and said, "There is prophet of God who can help you." Because of her courage, Naaman went and God helped him. So think about that. A young girl with no precision and no spotlight changes someone's life because she was not ashamed to speak about God. So here the lessons, you don't need a big platform to make a difference. Some of you think I'm too young, I'm not important, I don't know enough, but God can use you right now at school, with your friends, on your team, or online. The real question is, are you ashamed of your faith? Do you stay quiet when people talk about things that you know are wrong? Do you hide the fact that you believe in God? Or are you willing to stand up even in small ways? Because when you are not ashamed of God, God is not ashamed of you. So that's when Paul encouraged Timothy at 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for a believer in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in practice. Second point is a worker who does not need to be ashamed. Is someone who knows God's truth, living honesty, and isn't afraid to speak no matter when they are.
Tano pastor, third point. Tano pastor siba wala pano pata mita to agli agta se to lolo nirki. third point one who handle the truth correctly Pe Daniela sado apune bukti bawe sopa na bukanisa Mo watiro tago tu atho owe a pla huchi do atu owe hupla do awele palawe da le we adura ata poko le ko babulo ni lo wi do awe hilo tagulu la podo popwa kwa pata pho kwa sinyo kwa se pa pho ta lo pa se li ta so do ke ye pa pa ta le ko pho apu khela ni ka ba tho we ta go thu du ni lo do pa la ame ta ba tho we da ta pha ni ka ba ta ti la kwi o su me u ke ka pha apha apu ni lo du me ta se ko to du ko we do pa ko ga de na hu we da pi bana so tu tro do ke ye ta ki kli aso do pa go mu ko ga de tu tri lo asat do ba tho we da ta go thu ni lo ba sa me pa do su ko sa ga la ame so shara so mi sha do so abidna ko te pha te ba tho ta go ye ho phe ni pale te ba sopa do sopa ni sa do tho do me pale ko pa sa ga ni su a o do phe ni sopa si kwa o bam nu kho la su te ba tho ta go thu i le si nya la si me te ba tho ta go i ba ni si ko ba ta te la kwi su me u ke ka pha pu ni lo mi si ka sa u ke kho ke si ka sia awe te si sa we Pekesala peba otaga ini uke koke pala me u puse do mapu ple pala nesu pu te weni lo me te me ba dini do te nya sopa pata ba thot nata go thu ba awe I pa phla tho ta su ta na loti lo se pe me te gele aphu ni sopa na buganisa ta do thota do kele do ma apwa la makotho we me u ne ane alon nuisa ni lo sopa me we apwa gi su basu la atimu aklar pha se kha we da pwa do ko se ga I do ti lo do ti la we ti su me u asaki bu ni lo pala ati lo ta to pha I khoplo le me u ko ho me u la play off si awasi ni lo phe so pa ko la ta su me u ke ka pha apu kha thi we da pwa lui ga awasi ke ma do si we pati lo pwa se ga lo basa ke I pati ba pwa lui ga le ni ame nya me u to oba awasi ba pala a o do otagani loga ma di yo apho khani lo pheni sopa ko thoki awasi le ta thok te ka sa yo akhi apwa heki tho tiki do chi we pwa sa ga I akho su to bo da le tu u oba tno kho ba phe I pati ba le sopa ni si thopatra ki sa yo taka di ba pwa taga la le ko to thoda pwa sa ga I ni ka ba ta ma si yo ni lo pakati ba pwa sa ga I le ame so shadra so misha do sho abidne ko mi pwa ti ta pha le asi pe thi no pha ta mi ta to ase to lo a kho do manata ni lo bawa si ta pha pe mi na ke sa yo do kana aglu po akini awe ke masa kwa se pwa kita ni lo the third point who handle the truth correctly The verse finishes with correctly handling the word of truth. That means standing on what is right no matter what. Let's look at Daniel 3's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The king Nebuchadnezzar made a golden statue and told everyone, when the music played, bow down and worship it. Everyone else bowed, but not them. They stood, even when it meant being thrown into a fiery furnace. They said, our God can save us, but even if He does not, we will not bow. That is a bold faith. They didn't change the truth to fit in. They stood on the truth even when it cost them something. What happened? God showed up. He protected them. They came out of fire unharmed. Here's the lesson. Truth is not something you change. It's something you stand on. Today there is pressures everywhere. Pressures to fit in. Pressures to follow the crowd. Pressures to compromise your value. But God is looking for young people who will say, I will stand for truth even if I stand alone. So, third point, one who handle truth correctly.
Conclusion. Let's go back to the verse one more time. 2 Timothy 2:15. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved. A worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handle the word of truth. Do your best. God is not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be faithful. Be like Joseph, faithful in every situation. Be like the servant girl, unashamed to speak. Be like Daniel, friends, strong enough to stand. Di puta pomu tegala udo tatu dura to. Perglese keto pom no paramida to aglita sodolo di tasa tegala udo tasutana hugli nidike. Moya soge aglita ko se bula tu kita lepu do soge pu ko di ko no de do dumu bola la ko nidike tablu. May God bless His word and keep it in our heart, and bless each one of us to live in His glory. Thank you all.